President Donald Trump will be released from hospital later today. Hearing that from the president himself, as he often does via Twitter. Let's go to Washington, where our bureau chief, Joy Malbon, is standing by with the very latest. Joy, what are you hearing? What are you seeing? What can you tell us?
Well, Donald Trump likes to upstage people, and he's upstaging his own doctors who had called a press conference at 3 o'clock to give us an update on his condition. But as you mentioned, he tweeted out he is leaving Walter Reed, the military hospital, after his fourth day in hospital around 6:30 this evening. Donald Trump has told Mark Meadows, his chief of staff, that he's desperate to get out. He really wants to go back to the White House and continuing his campaign. He tweeted this morning more than a dozen times all about the campaign, law and order, telling his supporters, go to the polls, get out there and watch. So he is focused, laser focused on the campaign. But of course, many doctors, are saying, look, considering the type of medication he's on, 3 different types of medications, he's still a very seriously ill man and he's contagious. And of course, we know that the White House has become a hot zone. His press secretary announcing this morning in a tweet that she too has tested positive, as well as 2 people in her press team.
Wow, yeah, it just keeps going. Can I also ask you if we can bring up the tweet from the president himself that just came out, less than 10 minutes ago? Joy, he says, feeling really good. Don't be afraid of COVID. Don't let it dominate your life. We have developed under the Trump administration some really great drugs and knowledge. I feel better than I did 20 years ago. What do you think?
Well, look, Donald Trump is getting VIP treatment at Walter Reed, the very best. He's receiving an experimental drug, remdesivir. He's on his 3rd dose, I believe, today. He was given a 2nd dose yesterday. It's a 5-day treatment, usually reserved for people who are seriously ill. He's also receiving a very strong steroid that experts, infectious disease experts say is something that's used on severely ill COVID patients. He's also taking zinc and vitamin D, a lot of therapeutics that he was talking about earlier, as well as, being in hospital with the doctors. Yesterday he put out a video saying, I've learned a lot. This is school here at Walter Reed. I've learned a lot about COVID. But he didn't tell Americans wear a mask, which is what every single scientist and expert has said is the only way to combat coronavirus until we get a vaccine.
And Joy, as you're talking, we're just going to show some live pictures outside of Walter Reed. I know you've seen this, but, there's a bunch of people out there with their Trump flags, Trump 2020, they're basically there in support of the president and have been over the course of the weekend there. I see Don't Tread on Me flags, libertarian flags as well, all there to try and, send a message that they are there for the president. Tell me about that astonishing scene, though. Donald Trump in a motorcade on Sunday. He's got COVID-19. We're showing the video now. He goes by and he's waving at people, wearing a mask. But, there are Secret Service people driving that vehicle. The man has COVID-19. He leaves the hospital, gets in that vehicle and goes and waves to people. I mean, tell me about the risks involved there, the Secret Service people driving that car.
Well, here's the thing. All those supporters there, they've been organized by the Republican Party in Maryland. It wasn't just a spontaneous, we love you, man, kind of event. People have been showing up every day, but it is organized. That drive-by yesterday shocked everyone. Donald Trump tweeted out, he posted a little video saying, I got a surprise for you, you patriots. He wants to project strength. He wants to show his supporters, look, I'm in control. We saw some photos that were, taken 10 minutes apart, him signing a blank piece of paper with his signature, trying to say, look, I'm still hard at work here. But here's the thing. There are physicians at Walter Reed that called that joyride, sorry, had to say it, called it insanity. This is a doctor who said, are you kidding me? Who allowed such a thing to happen? But of course, this is the president of the United States. His Secret Service people apparently are saying, look, we don't want to be considered disposable. They're quite upset at what happened. We did see that the two Secret Service people were wearing those N95s while the president was wearing just a cloth mask. And he's the infectious person. Many doctors, when they saw that, said this is just against every guideline you can think of. But again, he wanted to show his supporters that he's out there. And this was just another one of Donald Trump's famous photo ops.
And interestingly, Joy, I saw a comment from the White House where they said, this was cleared by health officials. This was cleared by doctors to allow for this joyride. And I'm just curious, do we know who cleared it and what pressure may or may not have been brought to bear on those doctors to clear it?
Well, there was a doctor at Walter Reed. His name escapes me right now. Dr. James Phillips. That was it. He was on some of the American cable stations this morning, calling it sheer insanity. That this was, he doesn't know who cleared it. But again, you're dealing with the president of the United States. I'm sure, and certainly his doctors who have given very confusing and sometimes misleading and evasive information about his condition. They too are following the president's orders. So, that statement was anonymous, that it was all cleared. And of course, the president was tweeting saying, hey, they're doing this. But if you're a Secret Service agent, are you going to say no to the president of the United States? I mean,
yeah, no, that's a good point. Okay, can I ask you about the growing number of people as well with the White House and beyond who have now tested positive? So, began with Hope Hicks, and you got the president and his wife. Now you got the top campaign director, Republican senators as well, the press secretary, Kellyanne Conway, and the list goes on and on. It's sort of the widening circle, Joy.
Yeah, and these are people all within Donald Trump's inner circle. There have been several what people believe to be likely super spreader events. One of them being about a week ago at the Rose Garden. There were, a couple hundred people there. There were inside events. Nobody was wearing a mask. They were hugging each other. You mentioned some of the people have tested positive. Kayleigh McEnany, the press secretary, and now testing positive. Two of the people in her press team. Yesterday, the president's personal assistant tested positive. Chris Christie, 3 Republican senators, Kellyanne Conway. I mean, the White House has become a hot zone. Kayleigh McEnany, she briefed reporters just 24 hours ago. She had a mask on, she took it off, and then she briefed reporters. So, and here's the stunning thing, Todd. There is still no mask mandate at the White House. Not at this moment. And there are several people complaining that there's no kind of contact tracing going on. Just yesterday in New Jersey, officials were saying that they have to reach out to the 206 people that had attended a Donald Trump fundraiser at his Bedminster golf course on Thursday night. And all of them, all these people had to be contacted and said, you better monitor for COVID symptoms. We don't know how large this is going to get, but we do know that the White House is now a hot zone.
Hey, Joy, tomorrow is 1 month until the presidential election. I know you're keeping close track of it. I'm curious, this diagnosis 4 days ago sort of upending the whole campaign, or has it? Are you getting a sense that the White House wants Donald Trump to be back out and campaigning as soon as possible, whatever that might look like?
It's Donald Trump that wants to get out there and start campaigning. He has been tweeting nonstop about the campaign. He wants to get out there, but I guess you never assume with Donald Trump, but I would think some of these packed rallies are off as far as we know. He's going to try and do as much as he can from the White House. Does he do Zoom meetings, what Joe Biden has been doing? Certainly, the campaign is alive and well. You see a lot of ads that are running, even though Joe Biden pulled down some of his attack ads while the president and the first lady fight this virus. But Donald Trump is eager there, and he wants to get out there because he knows he is losing. I mean, when you look at the polls, if you believe the polls, we always say that, Joe Biden has had a steady 10-point, almost 14-point lead. Now, there is some concern in some key battleground states like Florida that Joe Biden needs to win, and that he's not doing so well with Hispanic voters. So that's where he is this afternoon. There's also a question about the debates, the vice presidential debate. Does that go ahead? Are there extra precautions? That's Wednesday night, where Vice President Mike Pence and Kamala Harris are supposed to hold their debate. Will they be put further apart? Donald Trump has said he wants to debate Joe Biden again, but I would think for now anyway, that's probably off. I mean, we don't know. I go back to some of the medical experts that have been saying about Donald Trump, about his particular condition. I mean, he could take a dive. A lot of coronavirus patients, especially someone like him at high risk, 74 years old, clinically obese, you really have to watch people, especially around the 7 or 10 day mark. Can you imagine the optics if he's at the White House and suddenly has to be medevaced back to Walter Reed? This is serious stuff, but the president seems determined, that he is leaving Walter Reed so that he can get back to the White House and project strength.